pretty big night in the lightweight division especially. So let's start with the main event. You know, Dustin Poirier, I think one of the biggest wins of his career. What did you think of his fight tonight?
Yeah, no, he came out. Khabib, when I was with him last week, said he needs to come out in that first round. He needs to try to grapple, not strike with him. You know, tire him out, make him use his arms and legs, get him past. You know, he thought a round and a half, and he thought the fight would go the other way if he could get Conor out of the first round and a half.
Have you had a chance to speak to Conor yet after the result?
No, I haven't seen anybody.
I want to ask you what you thought about Michael Chandler as well. Like I said, an amazing debut from him.
When guys come into the UFC for the first time, they usually have a rough, first time in the big stage. He didn't. He came out and almost seemed like Hooker froze in that first round. And Chandler was just all over him and put on an incredible performance. Listen, man, when you get the platform that we had tonight, you make the most of it, and that kid did. Some people did tonight, and some didn't.
Yeah. I guess now the big question is, because those were two great wins, was Khabib impressed by anybody? Do we know what he's thinking?
I did talk to Khabib, and he said to me, Dana, be honest with yourself. You know, I'm so many levels above these guys. I beat these guys, and you know, I don't know. I don't know what he's, but it doesn't sound very positive. So we'll see. And what he said was, I told you guys before, he won't hold the division up. I mean, he already retired. He's basically retired. I'm the one that's been, you know, trying to get him to do one more.
Yeah. So do you give him a deadline? I mean, obviously you've got guys that are going to want to compete for a belt, and I know he's not going to hold up. But what's the schedule in your mind?
Yeah, it doesn't matter because these two just fought. They're not fighting again anytime soon. So get it figured out.
You think if he is done, do you think those are the two guys that fight for the lightweight title?
Yeah.
You talked about the massive platform. Any early indication on how you're doing? And also, it seemed like there were some little bit of tech issues at the start. Do you know what happened there?
Yeah, it was mostly on the West Coast. West Coast had some problems, but they got it fixed. And, yeah, it was a good night. It was a really good night. One of the top two all time.
Top two all time?
Yeah.
Last thing for me, we hadn't seen you since the weigh-ins. The whole Ottman-Izatar situation. What was in the bag that was brought there? You talked
about? No clue.
Crazy.
Yeah, no clue. Yeah, unfortunate.
Dana, right here. When you're watching the main event, the first round, Conor going for the shoulder strikes again, Dustin Poirier going for the takedown. When you're watching that first fight, was it playing out how you had expected?
Well, I think Conor had a good first round, doing what Conor does. But Poirier did too. I think Poirier fought the way he needed to fight in the first round.
Then the calf kicks seems obviously played a major factor.
100%.
And then I think Dustin even said he kind of thrives being overlooked. He didn't say he was being overlooked this fight, but I think a lot of people were looking forward to the Khabib-Conor fight. Did you think, was he being overlooked, and did he thrive? Every
time I did an interview, I had to talk about Dustin Poirier because the interviewers weren't. Yeah, he was totally overlooked.
And then Dan Hooker took his gloves off and tossed him into the octagon after he left. Have you spoken to him at all?
No,
there was
I haven't talked to anybody except Khabib.
Where does Charles Oliveira fit into this lightweight title picture, too?
Yeah, good question.
And then finally, what did you make of the stoppage in the Marina Rodriguez-Amanda Ribas fight? It seems like Marina said she basically got 2 knockouts in one fight.
It's true. That is true. Yeah, it was a bad. You know, he got too close to it to make them think that it was over, and then the second stoppage was good. I guess that's the way to put it. But
yeah. Just going back to that Ottman situation, I think I heard you in an interview say that they gave the wristbands to their friends, but then the guy who had the wristband scaled the balcony or something. Why did he do that if he had a wristband? Why couldn't he just go into the lobby?
He did. He did go into the lobby, went into a room, then scaled a couple balconies over to his room.
Did he just get into the wrong room or something? Why?
No, I don't know what the hell happened. They gave a wristband to somebody. The guy came up and was, they you know,
Is there a chance of criminal charges being brought against that guy?
No, we're not doing that. But getting your fight pulled and getting kicked out of the UFC is probably bad enough for him. We don't need any criminal charges against the kid. He's not a bad kid. He just made a bad decision.
I meant the guy who came in.
Oh, yeah, that's Abu Dhabi government has his name. I don't know what they'll do with him. Yeah, that's up to them.
Dana, can I ask if Jojo Calderwood, do you think she'll make her way back to Valentina, back to the title picture with that win?
Yeah, it was a great fight. She looked good tonight. All kinds of weapons tonight. I don't know. I mean, I don't make fights the night of the fight, but obviously she looked great tonight.
Awesome.
Go ahead, Ani.
Sandrine from Kura. Would you say that Chandler's UFC debut was the most impressive you've seen?
It's pretty damn good. I don't know if I've seen one, but like I said to John, you know, a lot of people who come in their first time have a rough go, you know, in their first fight in the UFC. That kid fought like he's been here for years. So, yeah, I off the top of my head, I can't remember a better one. Do you guys hate the backflips as much as I hate the backflips? It's just the kid gets his fight in the UFC, then does a backflip that looks like it's going to blow out both ankles, knees, and his spine. I don't get the backflip thing, and I don't like it. Then somebody's going to get hurt doing that.
Sorry. Then what do you make of the performance of Rodriguez against Amanda? And how do you see the future of Amanda that had a lot of hype and then got knocked out?
Well, it happens. I mean, you know, in this fight, I mean, she deserved all the hype she got, but when you put two of the baddest women in the world against each other, somebody's gonna get it, and it was her. It wasn't that she was overhyped. They're two top 10. You know, to make it into the UFC and then to make it into the top 10, I knew that was going to be a good fight, and either one of them could have gone in that fight. She wasn't overhyped.
We saw the video of you talking to Khabib about the numbers of the UFC 257. Do you have any updates on the numbers?
Yeah, I told John it's top either number 2 or number 3 all time.
Thank you.
Dana, to your left over here. Over here. Hey. Conor said in the cage that he's keen to be really active going forward after this, and he wants the rounds. Are you considering maybe turning him around relatively quick? Obviously, he needs to recover from a knockout like that.
Who, Conor?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure in a few hours he'll be blowing me up, telling me, you know, a million things he wants to do. So we'll see. We'll see what he wants to do from here.
Yeah, and obviously Dustin's heading in a different direction, but he says they'd maybe like to do part 3 sometime down the line. Is that something you could envision?
Yeah, I mean, there's always a trilogy when you got 1-on-1.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.